said, by the power of Grayskull.
Hello, this is just a quick review for Star Wars Jedi Survivor for the PS5. I was played the first one, and I liked that. But when this first came out, I thought there hasn't changed enough for us to be that excited about it, because I've just seen what was different about this one and the original one. And basically, I feel like this should have been the way the first one should have been, if you know what I mean. Like, they've just refined the first one, so it's just a much better game. It's a more, like, rounded game, it feels like, than the first one. Not to take anything away from the first one, you know, it is good. It is like what it is, kind of thing. But this one is just much better in terms of how fleshed out it is. You know, it's a more rounded game, in my opinion. But I enjoyed playing it. I've been playing it only for about, I think, 2 hours now. The only reason I got it is because it was on discount. It was only £17.50. And I thought, well, the reason why, I think the cheapest I had seen it was 30 quid or 31 quid. That was the cheapest I had seen it all throughout the year. And then obviously just before Christmas they're dropping it down. But normally when Sony do this, it's because the game's going to become free. So this is their last ditch attempt at trying to get people to buy it. But if it's like February, March, April or something, it's one of the PlayStation Plus games, I'm not bothered. I would have completed by then, and, you know, got my money's worth. 17 quid still a bargain for like a AAA title, which is basically like a 50, 60 quid game. So 17.50 is alright. But it's exactly the same as the first one in terms of the way the buttons work and the way the controls work and the abilities, like that double jump and swinging and stuff. You can climb walls and, you know what I mean, stuff like that. The main differences to this one is that you can dismember. See, I chopped his arm off there. You can dismember the humans, and you've got different stances. So you've got, I think, 4 or 5 different stances to go through. I haven't unlocked them all yet. I've only just unlocked the dual wield, where you've got 2 lightsabers, and then you've got the double-ended lightsaber like that, and then you've got the single lightsaber. I know you can get the cross guard, which is like Kylo Ren, if you're a fan of Star Wars. His, like, with the cross hilt, and it's really long. It's like a broadsword, like a medieval longsword, and that's slower, but you get much more damage per attack because it's like heavier. And there's another one where there's a blaster. It's either attached to your gun, to your wrist, or it's an actual gun, and you're just shooting it as you're fighting. And I've looked at reviews and that years ago, and they were saying that that's probably one of the best. I mean, anybody can get used to the stances and pick your favourites, but they were saying the cross guard and the blaster guard, they're the best two to have for overall, like, damage and stuff like that. But yeah, as you can see, I'm just at the beginning. You can change all the settings and stuff. So you can fiddle about with that. There's a load of settings of, like, field of view and, you know, all that kind of stuff. Turn the vibration off if you don't like that, and, you know, there's, like, just loads of stuff you can do. They've put a decent amount of options in the game now, which is good. But yeah, because you're starting, like, continuing on from the first game, then Cal, who you are, you're already basically like an established Jedi. So you've got, like, you know, you're not shit. You're not like a complete novice. You have got some skill. So that's good, because then you don't feel like you have loads of work to do to become competitive against the enemies, because some of the enemies are really hard. You know, you've got to just, like, know which enemy takes what kind of attack, or a lot of them block so you have to break the stance open, and I think there's a what's it called, like a perk to unlock the opportunity to like break people's stances and stuff, which I would get straight away as soon as you can, because it comes really handy in later game apparently. Because a lot of the enemies are constantly blocking. You can customize BD, you can customize Cal this time, you can change your haircut and your beard, and you can change like your clothes, the colours and everything. Same as your lightsaber, you can like change the colours and the materials and the lightsaber crystal. It's good because even the first, like if you play through the story mode, which I'm doing here, is that you get to a certain point and you get to unlock your first like workbench. So then the workbench is available for you to customize stuff, and you get the full range of colors straight away. You get like purple and pink and like everything you can think of. There's no colors that haven't been like locked behind a wall, unless later on you can get a red one. I don't know, but it's nice because by the time, I think it's when you first go back to the Mantis, because you've still got the Mantis ship from the first game, and your workbench on that ship is where you can customize stuff. But yeah, you just go around, make sure you do a good search, because one thing about this game is that it's 10 times bigger than the first one. I'm not sure how many planets there is to explore on this one, but there is a lot of like open areas, and there's shitloads of levels. Can you remember on the first one when you looked at the 3D holomap, you can see the different levels? It's the same, but just on a bigger scale. So there's multiple directions to go, and it's the same as the first game. You might like explore, but you'll come up to a bit where it's blocked, and you need to unlock like a Jedi power or a skill to progress further. So really, I wouldn't waste your time exploring all the different avenues on the map. In the options, you can have an extra AI like marker on the map. If you turn that on, then it shows you which way you can go. And it shows you which way you've been, so it's easier to navigate the map. Because sometimes the map gets confusing, especially on the first game, of like where you need to go and what level you need to be on and stuff like that. But I don't know how long the story mode is. Normally on games like this, it's about 20 to 30 hours, but it just depends, because top 8 AAA titles sometimes are only 15 hours long, and some like The Witcher and stuff like that, they're like 75 plus hours. So I don't know how much. I'm guessing it'll be between say 20 and 30. And they're not going to give you loads, but it'll not be too small. It just depends how quick you're doing it. Obviously, if you're going to speed run it, it'll be nothing like that. But if you're taking your time, you're not rushing it, and you're doubling back on yourself to go and explore and stuff like that, then you'll get a good amount of game time out of it. It's not going to be something you'll complete in a matter of a week or something, unless you're hammering it every day. But it's great for platforming like this. You've got lots of stages like this where you're hanging and you're swinging and you're grabbing and stuff, and later on you get like a forced dash where you can double jump and then dash and stuff. So it opens up different areas to you that were inaccessible before. But I like this kind of story mode where you're just left to your own devices. You can just walk around and explore, and you just get a chance to just left up to your own, like wherever you want to go. And it's easier to find stuff like that because you're not really following an objective. You're just doing it in your own time. Because you can always go back later on in the game, when you're on the ship, you can access the map and go back to different planets anytime you want, really. So, you can always go back once you've got your powers unlocked, your different force techniques. So I wouldn't be bothered about exploring every single part of the level, but just as you're walking on the way to the objective, like say like this, just make sure you always, like say when you come through a door like that, always have a look around, always just have a little scan of the area, because 9 times out of 10 there's something there to collect. So just do that as you're playing the game. But it's a great Star Wars game. You feel like you're in the Star Wars universe, unlike some other games of Star Wars titles, where they don't. If it wasn't for lightsabers or like stormtroopers, you wouldn't even know it was a Star Wars universe. Whereas this, you do actually feel like you're in the Star Wars universe. You do feel like a Jedi. So they've done a good job in that respect because most games can let you down there. But overall, I think it's great. It's like I said, I've only played it for a couple of hours, and I was a fan of the first game. There's different videos on YouTube if you want to go and have a look to see, like tips and tricks and, the perks that you might need and, like where special areas or things to unlock early in the game. But I don't really do videos like that. I always just do what's my first impression because I think that's what's most important when you buy a game or if you're looking to buy a game, you want to hear somebody's first impressions when they've picked it up because that's what you're going to have, and then you know what you're getting yourself into, and if you can say, oh well, what I'm saying is basically the kind of thing you would look for in a game, then you know that's going to be worth buying or not. And again, it's down to how what kind of games you like to play and how good you are at playing games, depending on your skill level, kind of thing. Whether you'll like games like this, but I think these are great, and I'm playing on the PS5, so it's like we're in that new generation of consoles now. I know the PS Pro's coming out, the PS5 Pro or the Slim, but even when we're onto the PS6, PS7, whatever, it's just going to be that continuous kind of game that's going to be like this: adventure games, platforming games, story-driven, like movie-themed games. I think they're great, and they give you like an adventure as well. Like I say, you're taking on this character, Cal, and you're a Jedi, blah blah blah, and you're having an actual good time. You're playing in the Star Wars universe. These games are great if you're a fan of the Star Wars. But as a game, even if you're not a fan of Star Wars, it's a good little platforming game. Do you know what I mean? It gives you things to do, and you get enjoyment out of it, even if you're not really invested in like the source material or the franchise or whatever. But back to the game, you've got times like this. I'm just looking at the screen now, and you get like mind control Jedi tricks. So if you like take over the guy and like confuse him, and then he'll start fighting the guy, any other enemies there, and later on you can upgrade it so you can confuse more than one person at a time. So a lot of the time it'll help you fight big crowds of people because it's easy to get overwhelmed, and you can die quite easily on this. Depends what difficulty you play it on, like, because you can change the difficulty anytime you want. But yeah, just like always command somebody to fight. Normally get the second hardest person to fight the hardest person, or get some of the normal stormtroopers to fight, and just use them as cannon fodder, and then at least the hardest person, which is normally a battle droid, or like one of the Imperial Guard things there, the shock troopers or whatever they're called, they'll be, they'll have a little bit of damage before you actually start to fight them. But like I was just saying, you can change the difficulty anytime you want. So it's like you can just, as long as you're not in combat, so before or after combat, you can always just take the difficulty down to story mode, where that's like easy, and it's even if you're just stuck, just so you can get past this one guy or whoever you're fighting, and then after you've defeated them, you can just go back and put your difficulty back up, and just get past that bit you were stuck on. But yeah, it's you've like I said, you're in the Star Wars universe, so you visiting all these famous places like Coruscant and places like that. So if you like Star Wars and you like Jedi, the first one, The Fallen, then you will enjoy this. And like I said, it was on discount when I bought this, but I don't know if it is anymore. But it's, even if it's not, it's worth it. It's definitely a game worth buying. Plenty of playtime there, plenty of customization. Plus, it's Star Wars. You know what I mean? So kind of really going wrong. But that's it. So, yeah.
Dad,